Shalom everyone. Tonight I am going to continue the series of the stories of the great Tzaddikim that we've had over the last few hundred years. And none other than the Jerusalem Rabbi, Rabbi Aryeh Levin, Zecher Tzaddik Livracha. He was actually born in the city called Orla back in the year 1885. It was actually a village which was actually in modern day Poland. And he moved in the year 1905 to the land of Eretz Israel at the time. And he came from such a illustrious background, from such a great family he had, with so many great rabbanim. So it's interesting that he was, in the year 1931, he was positioned by Rav Kook himself, the official prison chaplain of Israel, of Jerusalem. And he was known as the rabbi of the prisoners, because he used to come the whole time to the prisons and visit the different prisoners over there and give them spiritual chizuk, like a strengthening. And also emotionally, he spoke to the people, whether they were religious or totally secular, and he made them feel good about themselves. You know, some of these people had life imprisonment, and he inspired so many of the prisoners to keep the mitzvot or the Torah, or even if the people stayed secular. He gave such good connections, such kiddush Hashem within regards to them, and gave them hope each week. And it wasn't just that he visited the prisoners every single week. The visit didn't end over there. He made a connection with all their families and passed on notes and feedback to all the families of the prisoners and said how they're doing. And each time he would go there was like a continuous connection with the prisoners' families consecutively, and he was going there for many years constantly. He was such a great rabbi. Actually, on his 80th birthday, there was a reunion with the families of the prisoners over there, and he spoke over there and said that he hopes that the connection of just having the connection between the families and the prisoners itself was always keeping the families together. And there wasn't reported that there wasn't anyone that did not shed a tear. Everyone was crying inside this event with emotion, because he touched the hearts of so many people, of the prisoners and the families itself, and it gave the prisoners hope whenever he came there, because it was such a great thing he did over there. There was also another thing he used to do on Fridays, was he used to go visit the hospitals in Yerushalayim, in Jerusalem, where his wife would cook food and would actually make sure that none of the people in the hospitals were lacking of anything. Just his presence there was like an incredible feat. He was visiting all the patients. Anyone needed anything, he was there doing one of the greatest mitzvot, just on Erev Shabbat itself. And he was actually appointed in the year 1925 the mashkiach of the yeshiva, Etz HaChaim Yeshiva, over there, which a position he held for many years. Actually, there's a famous story once that says that he was walking in the neighborhood in Jerusalem, and there was a teenager at the time that was come from a very religious family, very Haredi family, and he had went off the derech. This teenager did, and he was walking the street, and he wasn't wearing a kippah on this specific day, because he had naturally gone off the derech. And this teen saw Rabbi Aryeh Levin walking in the street from a distance away, and he felt embarrassed, because he didn't want Rabbi Aryeh Levin to see him without a kippah he was wearing, because it appeared like he had become secular. And Rabbi Aryeh Levin actually was a sandik of his Brit, and did the bar mitzvah for him, and knew the family. So he walked away very quickly. But then, half a minute later, all of a sudden, someone is tapping on the shoulder, caught up with him miraculously somehow, and that was Rabbi Aryeh Levin with a massive smile. And the teenager was very embarrassed, because he wasn't wearing a kippah or anything else. And he says, the Rabbi Levin said, with such humility, "Did I embarrass you? Did I hurt you once? It looked like you were moving away quickly from me, like maybe you saw me, but did I do something wrong?" And the teenager couldn't not say the truth. He said, "Look, I was so embarrassed that you would see me, because I wasn't wearing a kippah, and look at the way I'm dressed up. You might think something else of me." So the Rabbi Levin, who was short of nature, he was of short stature, said, "I couldn't see your head at all. I couldn't see, but I could see your amazing heart. That you've got a heart of gold. That's what I was looking at. I can't see. I'm a short guy. I couldn't see what you're wearing on your head." And that guy that day on started when he didn't. A day didn't go by where he didn't wear his kippah again. He became religious again naturally, and he loved every single Jew. And one of my favorite stories, which I heard about it many, many years ago, was that one time his wife was in hospital with a very, very hurt, her foot was in a lot of pain, in gruesome pain, and in a hospital, he told the doctor at the time, our foot is hurting, because of the pain his wife had. He also had himself. He shared that pain himself, and it was incredible that he was one of the first people in the liberation of the Kotel after the 1967 war to come inside there. And when he saw the Kotel straight away, when it was recaptured after the war, he started crying with joy. But also was worried what the other nations are going to think later on. You know, there was always going to be a claim that we shouldn't have the Kotel, which is naturally ours. And he was streaming with tears of joy, but also of worry at the same time about the long-term vision of it. And the joy of just having the Kotel back in 1967, just that image itself of him inside the Kotel in the year 1967, walking there, it's just one of the greatest images, I think, in Jewish history. It's just something priceless, which is, and he passed away at the age of 84 years old, I believe, in the year 1969, actually 2 years after the Six-Day War. And he was really one of the greatest rabbis. He was known as the Jerusalem rabbi, also the rabbi of Yerushalayim, because everyone, whenever they saw him in the streets of Yerushalayim, whether they were Ashkenazi, Sephardi, secular, Yemenites, whatever denomination they were from, they would come and run to him and shake his hand and kiss his hand straight away. Especially on Shabbat, they would say Shabbat Shalom to him and everything else. He had such a love for every single Jew. He looked at the heart of every single Jew. He didn't just look at where they were from. He loved generally every single person. That was Rabbi Aryeh Levin, Zechet Tzaddik Libracha. And you know, these are just so many there were so many great stories. I believe there was a book written of him immediately after his death, a bestseller of a Tzaddik of our time, which is actually talking about him. It was a great seller, which is in print, in new prints nowadays even. And you know, he really was a great rabbi, and made this Dvar Torah be l'refuah shlema to Yosef ben Edna, from any health problems. I want to wish you all a fantastic evening, and hopefully I'll be able to do more stories of the great tzaddikim. Okay, thanks very much. Have a great day.